Hello from Lit. I have a video for you which will be about meetings, meeting types, and there will be a focus on one-on-ones. The basic kind of meetings you are probably all familiar with are sprint related, let's say, or product cycle related plannings, groomings, reviews, retrospectives. Planning is self-explanatory. Grooming, for those who haven't heard that term before, as I was new to this term a couple of years back, it's basically looking at the backlog, at various bugs, obstacles in the product process, and you meet there with your colleagues to plan who will sort what kind of obstacle. That's basically it. Review, let's say sprint review, it's evaluation of how the last sprint went well, where it went wrong, and what the team wants to change for the future. And retrospective, which could be related to a sprint, and it could be just about the product and product process and tasks and bugs and whatever. Or it could be, I don't know, quarterly retrospective in a team. Ideally, in my world, going to a pub or staying at the office with your team, buy some drinks, buy some food, do whatever you like, and during that time, dealing with some questions about how everybody feels. One meeting we all know from huge companies are all-hands meetings, and I was very skeptical, to say the least, about those years back. But I would say in the last company especially, I've learned to appreciate some parts of all-hands. I didn't watch it all. I've not always, but most of the time I've waited for the recorded version, and then I could skip the parts I was interested in. Typically in all-hands meetings, it's about meeting new people, mentioning some successes, metrics, how the company is doing towards customers or on the market. Sometimes there is some team success highlight, which is not regular for that particular team, but it tends to be a regular spot for any team to show some of their work, and typically some coming events, team buildings, and whatnot. Then another type of meetings could be strategy roadmap planning meetings, which I also didn't understand a few years back, but those meetings are the most important for me now. I always want to know what is the long-term strategy of a company, where is it heading, the product, how my future can correlate with those strategies, how can I help, or in worse scenarios, like do I want to work there in a year or two. Roadmap planning obviously is more specific to a team, but usually in big companies there are some overlapping roadmaps, epics or whatever, and then they are the team related, so it's definitely important. And usually as a senior, I don't know, designer, developer, manager, you are part of creating that roadmap ideally. Definitely there are cases where the roadmaps are prepared in a higher ranks leadership, and you are just doing what they thought without even asking. But I hope this is not the case so often in these days. And the last bit of meetings are one-on-ones, which are arguably the most important ones because they happen on a weekly basis. Some more important ones on quarterly, yearly basis, etc. So for the one-on-ones, I would distinguish between one-on-one with your boss or manager and one-on-one with someone else, and especially it could be with someone else you have problems working with, maybe. And at the end, my opinion about it, and that will be the whole topic for this video. So one-on-ones with your boss, they happen on a weekly basis, and the regular ones usually are about getting up to speed on both sides. You have some needs, you have some obstacles, and your manager should be able to help you with those. Also, your manager wants to be updated on what's going on and what's on your plate, basically. So these are the regular ones. And then there are the not favorite ones, I would say, for most of us introverts, definitely. And that's about creating goals, reviewing goals, if we have achieved those, like yearly reviews, which could influence our salary change, for instance, and things like that. With those goals, I was very against it for many years, but I understood later that they are really important, and it really depends on the company, the culture, and specifically our boss, how it feels for you. But in an ideal world, it should be about your manager taking care of what you want, how you want to grow, and help you with it. It should be about pinpointing your weak points, even though it's uncomfortable. And ideally, it should work both sides, not just from your manager to you, but from you to your manager. But I don't know what's your experience. I'm curious. Leave it in your comments. My experience was that it was mostly from top down, the goals, reviews, feedback, etc. So it didn't really work. I wasn't feeling like a partner. I was feeling like an employee, and he or she as a boss. Then the next one-on-ones with someone you have trouble working with. It doesn't have to be anything harsh or whatever. Like, you can have one-on-ones with any colleague, just to I don't know, clarify how you cooperate together, if you are missing something, and again, it's depending on your relationship with that colleague, and the main point is how you work together. You don't have to be friends. If you would like to be friends, that's great, but in those cases the feedback might be sometimes more troublesome, let's say, because let's face it, people don't like receiving feedback. Most likely people are able to give feedback, and how they do it, that matters a lot, and it takes years of practice. So no secret advices from that point. Everybody has to find their own way. With this one-on-one with, let's say, a troublesome person, it could be your peer, or it could be your boss. And with bosses, that's especially a tricky area, I would say. I had many managers in my life, and I have to say minority of those were able to listen to feedback from my side to theirs. And if that happened, I sometimes rather backed off, not to push it. One time I tried to push it and it didn't go well. So careful steps, with your boss, I would first recommend getting know your manager and evaluate if he or she are able to receive feedback from you. If you don't think so, don't do it. It's like most of the time it's not worth it, I would say. And the third type, I would say, could be, again, in an ideal world, that you have some problem with a colleague and you've tried to explain things many times. I don't know, communication could be a problem, or there could be some other problem you think you are unable to solve. And this is where your manager comes in, and it is his or her role to help you with that colleague, ideally find out some strategy, or ideally talk together, you, the colleague, and your manager together and sort it out. So that's another type of meeting, which could be uncomfortable, but for me it's more uncomfortable to stay in silence and be unhappy. So that's it. Yeah, as I said, my experience was mostly bad. But that's just me, because I have so high expectations from my colleagues, not only from, let's say, work-related professional way, but ideally I would like my manager to be someone close to a friend. I know that you can't have friendship with your manager. That's just, at least in my world, it's a no-no. It doesn't apply, because it could work like that the whole year, but at the end of the year you are talking about salary change, for instance, and suddenly it's an awkward situation, like being friends in talking something like that. So it just doesn't work. Last, my opinion about those, I would say prepare carefully for one-on-ones. It really matters. And overall, in general, where you are working in a company, take notes of your accomplishments. So you have some track record, and you can use those as arguments in those important yearly reviews, or setting up goals, or talking about salaries. Because if you wouldn't have the track record of those, it would be very hard for you to argue constructively and sell yourself why it's worth for your employer to raise your salary. And advice would be strategic about it. Like you need to know your audience, your boss or manager. You should know what to expect, and these first important meetings happen after a year you are employed somewhere. So you have plenty of time to get to know your manager, to find out what makes them thick, not thick, but you know what. And be realistic. Like, it's a job, you are employee. The first and most important thing is you need to bring income to your employee. Your value with your salary and money is the basics for you, but usually for the employer, you need to be able to earn twice as much as your salary, at least, so your employer feels you are worth it. Another advice would be, you shouldn't ever part ways in a bad way, because it can catch up with you years and years after that, when you are hired to a company and suddenly that former colleague is there, and it's kind of awkward situation. So always try to be professional. As I said, you don't have to be friends. You need to be able to work together. If it really looks hopeless, I would say, just listen. And just listen. You don't have to give feedback, you don't have to argue, you don't have to challenge anyone. You can silently plan your leave from the company somewhere else where there are better colleagues or where there is no toxic culture. For instance, like, to create a toxic culture, it takes only one guy. And if you work with that guy or lady, uh, it's just not worth it spending time like that. And last but not least, HR is not your friend. Like, it seems like it should be, in an ideal world, they should be your friends. They should be able to help you with some troubles in your work, whether it's work-life balance, whether it's your colleague which makes you some troubles. But in the end, the main role of HR is they are employed the same as you, and their job is to make it easier for the employer, not for you. So whenever you share with HR some of your problems, think about it first, and again, be strategic. Try to know them before you talk, so you know what you can expect. And that's it. That was the topic for meeting types with focus on one-on-ones. I would be very interested what are your experiences. So if you feel like it, you can leave it in the comments. Stay true.